Britain's Prime Minister, Theresa May, says she is very clear that President Trump was wrong to retweet material from a British far-right group. Mrs May was speaking for the first time in public on the issue after Mr Trump said she should pay more attention to what he called the destructive radical Islamic terrorism taking place in Britain. Our political correspondent Rob Watson has the story.
I'd like to start by saying how delighted I am that, as the leader of the free world, you took the time out to retweet 3 of my videos on Twitter today.
This is Jada Franzen, Deputy Leader of Britain First, an organisation set up by former members of the far-right BNP. Her posts that Donald Trump retweeted included footage alleging a Dutch boy in crutches was attacked by a Muslim immigrant. In fact, the assailant was born in the Netherlands. All this while the Prime Minister was visiting countries in the Middle East where the majority of their populations are Muslim. A spokesman said that Donald Trump was wrong, but she probably wasn't expecting a reaction quite like this. Addressing the Prime Minister directly on Twitter, the President said, "Theresa May, don't focus on me, focus on the destructive radical Islamic terrorism that's taking place within the United Kingdom. We are doing just fine." So, no apology from him, and on her visit to Jordan today, the Prime Minister stood her ground too.
The fact that we work together does not mean that we're afraid to say when we think the United States have got it wrong, and to be very clear with them. And I'm very clear that retweeting from Britain First was the wrong thing to do.
Though she clearly wanted to contain the row.
Let me be clear about the relationship between the United Kingdom and the United States. This is a long-term special relationship that we have. It's an enduring relationship that is there because it is in both our national interests for that relationship to be there.
But using the President's preferred method of communication, the Communities Secretary Sajid Javid was far more robust. He says, POTUS has endorsed the views of a vile, hate-filled racist organisation that hates me and people like me. He's wrong, and I refuse to let it go and say nothing. Labour say it was a strategic error for Theresa May to have got so close so quickly to the new US President at the start of this year, and a state visit to the UK should never have been on the agenda.
She should never have invited him. She should never have invited him within a few weeks of him being elected. Every other American president has had to wait for years. They have to settle down, and we have to be sure about who it is that we're inviting, or who the Queen is inviting.
Meanwhile, the Home Secretary didn't seem at all certain about when he'd come.
Mr Speaker, an invitation for the visit has been extended and accepted, but the dates and the precise arrangements have yet to be agreed.
The Prime Minister has been backed into a corner. She wants a post-Brexit trade deal with the US, but she would have faced huge criticism here at Westminster if she hadn't distanced herself from a president who has, in effect, distributed British far-right material to his 43 million followers on Twitter. It's difficult to see how you can defuse a diplomatic, or perhaps I should say, undiplomatic row like this.
In reality, there's very little that can be done. This is a president that is volatile. This is a president that clearly does not run through the layers of command when disseminating his thoughts. He simply goes through to a direct communication channel, namely Twitter. So it is difficult to know how this can be resolved very quickly unless Donald Trump himself wants it to be resolved.
And as the coverage on US television demonstrates, tensions remain strained between the traditional transatlantic allies. Ian Watson, BBC News.